I can only start today's episode with just a little snip from my journal on Sunday, so I'm going to read it for you. I was feeling good. I'd made some progress, and I was ready to take the next step and double down on my future. Then I woke up Saturday morning, and I could feel it. That scratchiness in the back of my throat and the subtle swelling around my eyes. And when I looked in the bathroom mirror, I knew exactly what it was. I had caught the dreaded winter cold that has been circulating around the office. It sucks. I when I wrote that, I was kind of in this just a horrible mood. One, because I was sick. I wanted to go to church, but my head felt like this overfilled balloon and I couldn't really breathe. And I felt awful. And so I was writing just thoughts down, and I needed to get them on paper because my brain felt like it was about to explode like a balloon that you just keep filling it up until it goes pop. And this weekend was this staunch reminder that it doesn't matter what type of routines you have or diet or exercise or sleep schedule. All of us can still catch a cold. We can still get sick. We can still be pursuing good things and crash and burn. Because I was feeling good about this year. I was ready to double down. I am ready to double down. I'm still ready to double down. I'm excited about this year. But I was excited to start this weekend, right? I was excited to keep going this weekend, keep that momentum. But instead, my body had different plans. And it's funny because during this process, I'm usually go, go, go. And I've had to learn to slow down over the last few years and to rest. In fact, I talk about rest a decent amount, but I also talk about finding purpose and, going for your dreams and, keep the focus or keep the drive and stay driven. And, I talk about those things. And it's funny because I have a friend who is go, go, go. And she will encourage me and she'll try to uplift me. She's all about the gym. So she'll be like, have you gone to the gym? Have you gone on a walk? You need to get up. You need to get out. And a lot of times what she says is so true. And then there are times when she'll say it and I'll be like, yes, that's inspiring. And I'll go to take that first step and just collapse because my body's like, you can't do that. You have to stop. You need a factory reset. Have you ever been in that moment where you feel like you want to do something, but you can't? Like there's a virus inside of you, or like a illness, like a cold. Something's going on where you just can't match somebody's energy. And so my friend will send me these, and it's funny because I've had to learn that it's always meant well and it's always encouraging, but I can't always match what she's like. Yeah, just do this and you'll feel better. And in a lot of cases, and I'll say this about a lot of cases, she's right. Like sometimes you just need to get up and you need to go for a walk. You need to clear your head, all those things. But in this case, this weekend, I was actually done. I was down for the count. I couldn't do anything. I literally got pizza and chicken noodle soup, liquid IV, a pack of Diet Dr. Pepper, and Theraflu. And that's what I've lived off of for the past few days because my body has said, nope, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to be able to do anything. And so for the last 4 days, I felt like I've fought for my life. And today, I'm recording this on Wednesday. Today was the first day that I could actually breathe through my nose. And I felt like my head was loosening up just a little bit, like somebody let a little bit of air out of the balloon. And so it's been weird, but it's also been this great reflection period because a couple of people have reached out, and of course they've checked in on me, and I appreciate that. But I have other relationships and friendships that I'm trying to keep up with, and I just can't I physically can't. Like my head wasn't there, and I felt bad, but it's always one of those things where it's like I can't. What do you do when you can't? And that's where I've come to this factory reset thought process, because I think it's interesting that when we're sick, you can get all of the essentials right then and there. Like, what to do. You can Google, what are the symptoms? What do I do? You can ask a friend. I had people reach out to me and they told me, yeah, are you trying honey? Have you gotten enough rest? Are you taking vitamin C? Are you drinking enough water? All those things, they're like the standard essentials. We know that those are the standard essentials to fight a cold. But then when I started thinking about it over the last few days, wait a second, aren't those just the standard essentials to fighting like melancholy or a lack of motivation or even depression? Like sometimes, what if instead of trying to do more or find purpose, what if you actually just bought a pizza, bought some chicken noodle soup and Diet Dr. Pepper and a liquid IV and spent a day where you rested completely, didn't do anything, and you just made sure that you had food, made sure that you drank water, maybe some electrolytes, so liquid IV, and slept. Like maybe that's what would help you in those moments. That's what I'm kind of realizing is like, wait a second, I need to actually adopt these essentials and just move them to anytime I'm feeling out of it. All right, we need a day. Boom. I'm just going to take this day. What would I do if I was sick? That's what I'm going to do here. And it made me think of this story in the Bible. I thought it was so interesting because I talk about rest a lot because I'm not good at it. Like, contrary to popular belief, I actually am not good at rest. I have always been that go, go, go person. It's not been until the last few years of my life where I've realized I have to slow down and I have to stop trying to do everything and I need to rest. Like, I really need to rest. And even now, I completely, oblivious to me, forget sometimes that I need to focus on, am I drinking enough? Like, I get into a routine and it's like, yeah, I think I drink a gallon of water a day. Sometimes I drink a gallon. Sometimes I drink a gallon and a half. And then sometimes I don't really get that gallon. But am I actually doing it consistent? Is it something that I'm always doing? Yeah, probably. But then sometimes I forget, okay, when was the last time you slept in? When was the last time that you made sure that you were feeling good? When was the last time that you really got some rest? Because I'm pretty go, go, go. Like this weekend reminded me, hey, sometimes your body will just say it's time to rest. But there's this story in the Old Testament, and I find it funny because this is a guy who's doing something good. His name's Elijah. He's a prophet of God. And I've told this before on the podcast, but he's doing something good. I think we all are doing something good. Pursuing your dreams is good. Pursuing a new job or pursuing a healthy body, right? Waking up early and going to the gym. It's hard, but it's healthy. All of these things are healthy. But even in doing healthy things, sometimes you can still crash and burn like Elijah. So we go to 1 Kings 19. And Elijah is this prophet of God, and he's just done all these really awesome things for the people of Israel. And essentially, as the prophet, he has explained that God loves them. He's the one true God. And all the other people in the area said, no, your God's not real. Our God Baal is real. And so Elijah was like, okay, we'll do something to test it, essentially, so you can believe this. We will have 2 altars, and you ask your God to consume the sacrifice for your, God, and then I'll ask my God to consume the sacrifice for my God. And so the worshipers of Baal essentially pleaded, cut themselves, begged, and asked their God to consume or to burn up the sacrifice, and nothing happened. Nothing happened at all. Then Elijah prayed. Fire comes down from heaven, consumes his altar, but not only his altar, but also the altar of Baal. And everybody's like, wow, that's incredible. Your God is the one true God. Like, that makes sense. So Elijah has just done this really awesome thing. He's done this really, really awesome thing. And it's a good thing because he's trying to speak life and truth and hope into the people who are not believing in the one true God. So he gets to this point in chapter 19, this very next chapter, and because of this, Jezebel, that's where that name comes from, wants to kill him, essentially. And we're going to pick up in 19:3-8. Elijah was afraid and ran for his life When he came to Beersheba in Judah, he left his servant there while he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness. He came to a broom bush, sat down under it, and prayed that he might die. I have had enough, Lord, he said. Take my life. I am no better than my ancestors. Then he lay down under the bush and fell asleep. Have you ever felt like that, where you've done something cool and then immediately after something else happens and it changes your shift in your mind, where it changes your mindset to something is off, right? You do something really cool and you're like, yes. And then somebody says something, and it doesn't matter how cool of a thing that you just did, that person, has completely crushed you. Have you ever been in that moment? Because this is where he's at. And he's like, you know what? I just want to die. It's like when you go out on a date and, she's like, I love this restaurant. We have so much in common. And then you're like, yeah, I really don't like this band. And she's like, completely shuts down because she doesn't like that. It's like that one thing that just changes the entire shift in that conversation. I digress. I'm not speaking from personal experience. Of course I am. We move on though. So Elijah lays down under a bush and falls asleep. All at once, an angel touched him and said, get up and eat. And he looked around, and there by his head was some bread baked over hot coals and a jar of water. He ate and drank and then laid down again. The angel of the Lord came back a second time, touched him and said, get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you. So he got up, ate, and drank. Strengthened by that food, he traveled 40 days and 40 nights until he reached Horeb, the mountain of God. Now, this is like a complete side story in the Bible, but I love that stories like this are in the Bible. Because God is not David Goggins here, who says, who's going to carry the boats? Get up, you little, what David Goggins would say. Like God is a completely different reaction to what someone would expect. Because growing up, I sometimes felt like the reaction was going to be the reaction of my parents, who were get up, stop wallowing, go do things, blah, blah, blah. And we sometimes have that internal monologue that when we're really tired and we're really broken, we're really upset, maybe we're depressed, maybe we're frustrated, maybe we have a false sense of security, or we're insecure in ourselves, or we've been absolutely crushed by somebody, our self-esteem, whatever it might be, because somebody has said something. Maybe we got denied for a job that we really wanted. Maybe the girl said no. Maybe the guy broke up with you. Whatever it might be. We've all felt this feeling. And sometimes we think that God is going to react and say, get up. Stop that. Don't you know you're a son of God? Don't you know you're a daughter of God? Get up. I didn't raise no wimp. No, God takes a completely different turn here. Instead of reacting like that, he says, hey, I brought you some food. I brought you some water. Go back to bed. And says he got up, he ate, drank, and laid down again. And then it didn't happen just once. He did it again. He said, get up, eat, drink. You need your energy. You need to eat and drink. You need to get some sustenance. You need to get back to be able to even travel where you're going. And I think sometimes we get in this mentality of we need to go, 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 go. Sometimes we'll even have setbacks and we'll get sick. And we think we just need to go, 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 go and push through it. And I promise you, most of you, if not all of you, can probably do that. But it wears on you. It wears on your soul. It wears on your heart. It wears on your relationships. It wears on your friendships. It wears on your job and your career and the things that you do on a daily basis. It's just little bits of friction. And I think about the Grand Canyon was once a little river that hollowed out deeper and deeper from the rushing of the water that was just slightly moving. And so that little friction can cause large gaps over time if you let it. And you've got to be able to learn how to rest and understand that God cares about you and it's okay to rest. In fact, He wants us to rest. He wants us to be able to say, you know what? I need a day where I sleep, where I stay in my pajamas. I get Diet Dr. Pepper pizza and Theraflu and Liquid IV and some chicken noodle soup and just rest. Because we need all of that. It comes back to we need to be able to have the sustenance, go back to the essentials. Are we drinking enough? Are we actually resting? Are we, focusing on the things that we would focus on? So maybe you're in a rut. Maybe you're not even sick, but you're in a rut and you're in a headspace that won't let you move forward. What would you do if you were actually sick? What would you do then? Because I want us to think about a factory reset in the standpoint of maybe it's not about, oh, you need to take medicine and rest, but maybe it is about, well, I would call in sick for a day and I would completely just shut down. Or I would stay in on a Saturday and not do anything because I know I need this. That's what the Sabbath was originally. It was supposed to be a day of rest on Saturday. It was a day where you don't do anything out of honoring your body and honoring the life that God has given you, that you essentially rest and recover and are ready to do the work the rest of the days. There's an old saying that says, you can please some people all the time, all people some of the time, but you can't please all people all of the time. And that saying has helped me at a personal level and understand myself at a personal level, because I've learned that I can't do everything all the time. I can't do all things well all the time. And there's a freedom in recognizing that I don't have to. I don't need to do all things because I can't do all things well. In fact, the less I do, the better I can do those few things, because I can do some things really well all the time. And so as I've grown older, I've learned that I can let go of trying to do more, and I'm holding on to the less and less and the little things that I do, because I'm going to do those better and better and better, because I can't do everything better and better and better. I really don't know what the next few weeks are going to look like, because I'm still out of it. I'm still meted up. I mean, today is the first day where I'm feeling a little bit better, which is good, but it's still not quite 100%. I don't even know if I'm 70%, to be honest. Like, today has just been a blur. But out of all of it, I'm really hoping that we will take a moment to factory reset ourselves before we jump into this year and get halfway down the river or halfway into the journey and then crash and burn. I hope that we take a moment to say, no, this is good. I'm going to remind myself to rest. I'm going to chill out for a little bit. Not going to go out, not going to get crazy, not going to do this, or not going to commit to all the things I've committed to. But I'm going to commit to the few things, and I'm going to do those well. So maybe you have a few friends, maybe you have a few relationships, maybe you have a few, coworkers that you're pouring into. You don't need to meet with everybody, but maybe you need to pour into one or two of those, because you can't please all the people all the time, but you can please some of the people all the time. And it is good to have those relationships and those people in your life who are going to call you up, not call you out for no reason, and not shut you down or not walk away when things are difficult, but call you up and say, hey, I can't fix your problems, but maybe I can help you rest, and just say, no, you're not coming out tonight. You're going to stay in, you're going to rest, you're going to feel better later. And then on the other side of things, having those conversations with your loved ones, the people who are closest to you, maybe you need to have the conversation and say, hey, I love you guys, but I need a day to myself. I need to become an introvert for a little bit and recharge my batteries so I have the battery power to give. That's going to do it for this conversation. I appreciate each and every one of you for listening. I can promise you, I'm hoping that by Monday this is gone. But I don't know. Like right now, I'm still just, it's been a rough week. But I appreciate you listening to the podcast. And of course, I hope that each and every one of you have an incredible week. As always, remember to give grace, show love, and as always, stay stellar.